Hey everybody, welcome back to another video here on the Washington Football Maniacs channel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Why? Because we talk about Commanders football, and if you're a big fan, you're going to want to be able to get all of the news and all of the commentary from here. And in this video, we're going to be talking about keys to victory against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's get on with it. Yes, folks, so keys to the victory for the Washington Commanders. I'm telling you, this is going to be a big game for the Commanders. This is a good team. Those Steelers teams are always well coached. I've got to sneeze. Oh, man, do I feel better. Okay, what was I saying? Those Pittsburgh Steelers teams are always well coached. They're going to be ready, right? So what do the Washington Commanders have to do to get ready and to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers to go up 8-2? Well, number one, obviously, you have to pressure the quarterback. Whether if it's going to be Russell Wilson or if it's going to be Justin Fields, either way, you have to pressure the quarterback. Now, here's the thing that I mentioned in a video Sunday night, basically saying that Dan Quinn, Bobby Wagner as well, they know Russell Wilson and they know his tendencies. So I feel like that's already an advantage that the Washington Commanders have, obviously, is that, I mean, they obviously know what Russell Wilson is going to do. They know his style of play, and so they're going to be ready for that, but they do have to put pressure on Russell Wilson. Let's say that it's not Russell Wilson. Let's say that for some reason Justin Fields comes into the game. I still think you game plan for both quarterbacks. You got to create turnovers, because here's the thing. The Commanders, when they create turnovers, they can jump on you pretty quickly, because honestly, this football team can move the football down the field at almost at will, and there's more times than not you're going to see this team scoring, whether it's field goals, whether it's touchdowns. You're just not really seeing Tress Way a whole lot, which is probably good news for the Washington Commanders. Sorry, Tress, I love you, man, but they're going to have to create some turnovers, and so in order to create turnovers, you got to get some pressure. The first key to the victory of the game, you got to create pressure on the quarterback, force him to throw the ball early, force him to throw the football off balance, and create some turnovers, sack fumbles, things like that. You got to be able to create those turnovers. Run game efficiency. I'm really hoping that B-Rob is healthy for this game. He has a hamstring issue, so I don't know, but if he can be healthy for this game, the Washington Commanders are so deep at running back. It is crazy. It is so crazy how deep the Washington Commanders are at running back. You got B-Rob, who obviously when he's in there, that offense is better. Then you got Austin Eckler, who has, to me, I don't think he's missed a step at all. Austin Eckler is an outstanding pickup for the Washington Commanders. And then after that, you got Jeremy McNichols, and then you got Chris Rodriguez, who came in. Nobody knew that Chris Rodriguez was going to play last week, and he had, 11 rushes for 51 yards. And so when you got to have a man step up, they step up in that running game. But Washington is going to have to run the ball efficiently, which leads us into this next key, which is ball control, clock control type of offense. Methodically move the football down the field and keep the Pittsburgh Steelers offense off the field. I think that's what you're going to have to do, because if you can do that, then that's going to limit the Steelers' opportunities to score. Because, right now, the Commanders' weaknesses on their team is obviously on the defensive side. And by the time that this video is released, we will actually know if Adam Peters has made a move to get another edge rusher or cornerback, or if he's staying pat and saying, you know what, I'm not going to mortgage the future for a short-term fix. So we'll see what happens. But as of the recording of this video today, we know that there has certainly been some deficiencies in the defense, the secondary, and then at times that defensive front because of injuries or whatnot, and because of maybe play that hasn't been up to par with Deron Payne, and of course John Allen's out now, so they're going to have to step it up. But having said all that, masking some of the issues on defense means keeping the offense off of the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so if you're Jaden Daniels and company, you're relying heavily on that running game, and you're methodically moving the football downfield. And of course, this is a key that in the past has been ridiculous as far as saying that this was going to be something that was going to be, if you can't rely on anything else, you're going to rely on home field advantage. And in the past, that was laughable for Washington because they just simply did not have home field advantage. But that is one of the keys to the games now, right? Because their team is winning, fans are showing up, they're cheering, they're getting loud, but guarantee it, you're going to see a lot of those terrible towels out there because Pittsburgh Steelers fans, they love to travel, and they love to travel to see their Steelers. And so you're going to see a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers fans at this game. So just be prepared for that if you're going to the game. Even despite that, home field advantage is actually a thing for the Washington Commanders. Actually, I don't think they have lost, knock on wood, I don't think they have lost a game yet at home. And so home field advantage is starting to become a thing for the Washington Commanders. Adaptation, flexibility, knowing how to get in there and realize that you're going to have to make adjustments. That's one thing that has killed me with Washington coaches for the past 10, 15 years. Is the fact that it felt like that none of those coaches ever made halftime adjustments. Well, if it was on the offensive side of the ball, if it was on the defensive side of the ball, there was never any type of adjustments. And if there were, it just seemed like it never really worked. So that's one thing that I have noticed with this coaching staff is that they know how to make those adjustments. They know how to change things up. That's what happens a lot of times. They're going to make adjustments. They're going to see what the other team is doing. They're going to counter. And this is just basically good coaching. And this is what you saw when you had Joe Gibbs. You know, Joe, especially the coaching staff that Joe Gibbs had assembled back in the 1980s, they were number one in making halftime adjustments. And they always talked about halftime adjustments and things like that. But not just halftime adjustments, just adjusting after a series or two when maybe the other team is having a lot of success. You know, you have got to be able to stop them. And so you got to be able to make those adjustments. You can't wait till halftime. And so that's one thing that I think that the Commander is going to have to continue to do in order for them to be successful against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And finally, I'm telling you, rely on your playmakers, rely on Terry McLaurin, rely on B-Rob if he's healthy. Of course, Jaden Daniels goes without saying. You got Zach Ertz, who is always a very reliable guy as well. I also want to see Luke McCaffrey. I want to see him more involved. We haven't really seen much out of him in the past couple of weeks. I want to see him make some catches. Of course, on the defensive side, I want to see some more pressure from guys like Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, of course, Frankie Louvu, who just continues to be an absolute beast. That was probably one of the best pickups that the Washington Commanders had during the offseason was Frankie Louvu. So, folks, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, give it a share. Let me know your thoughts on keys to the game. But I'm telling you, we have got to get out there. We got to make this 8-2 because we're heading into an Eagles game that's going to be just as tough. NFC East matchups are always killer. So let's see what we can do against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody, and hell to the Washington Commanders.